the gloom. In that house, shadows consume.
The hunt has begun. Hunting the shadows. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to all you fine people out there in podcast land. I am your humble host, Dennis Carroll, and this is Hunting the Shadows. Okay, I think this is episode 39, if I'm not mistaken. I think we kind of skipped on the other one. So anyway, I think this is episode 39. And I want to welcome you all here tonight. We're a little rough around the edges, just sitting back from having no internet for about 25 some odd days. But we're doing okay now. We're coming back full blast. You can't stop the signal, okay? Absolutely not. And we've got a good show lined up for you tonight. If you don't like spiders, you may not like this show. We're going to be doing giant spiders tonight, okay? And that's the stuff that nightmares are made out of, definitely. Want to welcome all the people gathering in the chat room here. Wizard Moon and Dragonfly, and let's see who else we got coming in. We've got, let's see, little Kilroy, hello. My brother Juno, all right. And the ever lovely girl in her gong. And let's see who else we got. We've got some more coming in here. Got a lot of announcements to make tonight. Got some special stuff to share with you before we get into the show. I think you're gonna like this show. You're gonna like a lot of the announcements coming up. Okay. I wanna give a quick shout out to everyone who is a member of the Patreon. I do have a Patreon, yes, and you can check it out. Let's see if I've got it. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to see if I can put that up on the screen for you. And let's see where I've got that at. There we go. Yeah. There's my Patreon. And you can join that to become a real full-fledged shadow hunter. You're going to get special stuff. As a matter of fact, coming up very soon, we're going to be doing a very special video for members only about Dogman home invasions. Now, that ought to ring your bell for you a little bit there. That should definitely ring those chimes for you. That's right, Dogman home invasions, okay? We're going to be talking about that on the video coming up for members only. So you may want to check it out and become a actual full-fledged shadow hunter. And you can do that by joining the Patreon, okay? And hello, Beyond the Box. Good to have you here, dear. And let's see who else we've got. I'll be doing an appearance very soon on Beyond the Box. So keep your eyes open for that. There we go. Thank you, Girl on a Gong. That's the another link to the Patreon there. And some other good links there on that. Thank you. And we'll leave that up for a few minutes. Everybody can see it. We got people slowly gathering in here, so I don't want to get ahead of the crowd. It's going to take a while for some of them to gather here. But it has been a very, very interesting ordeal to get back on the internet and all that, finally. But we're glad to be back and glad that we weren't forgotten. Hello, Nanette. Demaria. Hello. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Demaria. That's what it looks like. But I hope I'm doing that right. I hope I'm doing you justice. Okay. If not, you can call me up on it. Definitely. I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. We're going to be, like I said, we're going to be talking late in a little while. We're going to get into giant spiders. You know that is a cultural thing almost worldwide that people talk about giant spiders. Now, when I'm talking about giant spiders, I don't mean big spiders. I mean giant spiders. I'm talking horse-sized spiders here. Okay. There we go. There's my very dear good friend, the Cryptid Huntress. Hello, good to have you here. And there are a lot of stories and cultures all over the world about these so-called giant spiders. Think about that. That would be a bad situation to run into for anybody. Hello, Monica. That would be the stuff of nightmares, definitely. Well, a lot of people. Now, I'm not scared of spiders myself. Spiders don't bother me. I've been bitten by spiders. Just a grass spider, though, nothing very serious. But, and it hurts. You don't want to get bit if you can help it. But they don't bother me. Now, I'll tell you what I hate. I hate spider webs. You can't get them off. Oh, yeah, you know, that's what I hate. It's not the spiders that bad. It's the spider webs that bother me. I don't like to get them on me because you can't get them off. You look kind of silly with wearing spider webs, okay? But anyway. By the way, if you didn't catch it, you need to catch the Cryptid Huntress show today. She had an excellent show. You need to check that out. She always has excellent shows, okay? She never disappoints, without a doubt. And I got a big announcement. She will be a very special guest on Hunting the Shadows next Wednesday night. You don't want to miss this. We're going to get together and do maybe a little Halloween special. And it's about, it's going to be interesting to have her on here. Definitely. I've been wanting her for a guest for quite some while. I said, well, now's the time to do it. So we will definitely, nothing happened. Creeks don't rise. We'll have a Cryptid Huntress as a special guest next week on Hunting the Shadows. It's storming and thundering like crazy, and it's in the forecast. Came out of nowhere, Monica says. Well, I said, this is very changeable weather going on right now, definitely. So you never know what it's going to do. I've heard ghosts of spirits brushing up against you feels like walking through spider webs. I have experienced that. Yes, I have. And it is a very ethereal type touch. It's not like a human touch at all. Well, it can be. It can. Some people have experienced that. But actually, I have actually been attacked, physically attacked by a evil spirit that I actually had to fight that thing. And you think that's interesting. Try find something you can't see, okay? It was a very unusual experience. It wasn't like physical. I've done some wrestling in my time. I've done some boxing. I've done a little boxing and all that. I know how you get physical, and this was way different than human type physical stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain, but it's very strange. And if you ever interact with a spiritual being, you'll know what I'm talking about. Definitely, it's very strange. There we go. That's Jessica's show today. Let me throw that up there. If you need to go check that out, and give her a watch, yeah, because that was a great show. That was a great show. But like I say, she always does great shows. But check that out if you get a chance. Tony says, I hate spiders. May leave her. Well, spiders don't have a big fan club, Tony. Actually, they don't. I'm afraid not. But one of the we're going to talk about this. I've done a lot of research on the spiders, and there are some very interesting things. You know, there's a lot of things in Australia that will kill you, definitely. And they have what in Australia is called a redback spider, which is the equivalent of our black widow spider. And we have the even worse, I think, than the black widow is the brown recluse. And then we also have brown widows. So there are many different spiders that will do you in. You have to be very, very careful about that. Dealing with spiders, you don't want to, tangle with the wrong ones. But there are a lot of them. Hello, Crystal. Good to have you here. There are a lot of things that will try to unalive you out there in Australia, definitely, but everywhere. You're going to run into that situation wherever you go. You've got different species of animals and all that. But I don't know if any of you are familiar with camel spiders. They aren't really spiders, by the way. They're classified. They actually have different names. They're also called sun spiders and sun scorpions. They're not scorpions either. They are a complete species unto themselves. They're not spiders. They're not scorpions. And they do not have a venomous bite, but it can hurt. Like I said, I've been bitten and it does hurt. But they're not venomous. They're not venomous on that. So they're not to humans anyway. But camel spiders, which are not really spiders, are very much like the crabs. Now, crabs, a lot of people say that the crab is the ocean spider. Monica says, I don't like spiders either. I had 2 different breeds in my basement. I sprayed my whole house. So not many like that before, but one was a big black one. The other one was a big brown one. Well, they come in different colors, Monica, but you can't go by the color. And you got to go by the markings on them to understand what you're dealing with. The brown recluse has a mark on it very much like a fiddle. It looks kind of like a fiddle. And of course, you know what the black widow looks like. It looks like a red hourglass on it. The brown widow also has that as well. We have banana spiders in Peru. Yeah, they can get big. They can get big. But the biggest spider in the world is the Goliath bird eater. It's bigger than your dinner plate, than your average dinner plate. It's about a foot in width. Think about that a minute. That's a big spider. And it eats birds, by the way. And you will find them growing or gone. They are in the Brazilian jungles. And they are the world's largest spider. Leg length and everything. They are a tarantula, by the way. And tarantulas are big. And by the way, this is tarantula mating season. So if you're in the Southwest, you might want to keep an eye out for that. The male tarantulas have now left their nests and are looking to hook up with the females. So you will see a lot of male tarantulas right now walking around. They were big and they look like if they bit you, they would do some damage. Just sprayed my whole house. You weren't taking any chances, though. I hear you. All right. Yeah, they can get pretty big. They can, and things when you're kind of afraid of them can look bigger sometimes than they really are, too. They can appear that way. But I actually had a girlfriend one time, and she had a pet tarantula, and she let that thing crawl on me, and it was a very kind of an unpleasant feeling. It has a very weird feel to it, and tarantulas have hairy legs, by the way. They're very hairy there. So there you go. Hello, Shiro. Good to have you here, dear. So it can be quite an experience, absolutely. But a lot of people do not like spiders, and I'm not, like I say, I'm not crazy about them. But one of my favorite quotes is from Dracula when Dracula says, "the spider weaving its web for the unwary fly. The blood is the life, Mr. Harker." That was a great line. Of course, he could walk through spider webs without messing them up, by the way. He could transcend through them. That was the neat thing about Dracula. But anyway, spiders have a spooky look to them. There's no two ways about that. But now we have an invasion of the Joro spiders. They're black and yellow, and they have a distinct web. We used to call them riding spiders because it looks like they're riding in their webs. look like a written language a little bit, but they're not. But anyway, the choro spiders are very prevalent in the spring and fall, and you will see a lot of them. They're not poisonous either, by the way. They can get pretty big though. Absolutely. They can get very big, and some of them can even capture hummingbirds and stuff in their webs. Now, when a spider feeds on you, they suck you dry. They suck every bit of the sustenance out of you and leave nothing but a husk. But they have two ways that they do this. Their poison is in their fangs, but they have a paralyzing venom in their stinger. They sting you and paralyze you, and then they feed on you, and the venom in the fangs kills you while they're feeding on you. It would not be a very pleasant way to be unalived. Definitely not. It would be a bad way to go. They use their hairs as a defense mechanism and also as a sensory thing as well. They use their hairs to sense the atmosphere and when other animals and stuff are around them. Yeah, look close at tarantulas and they're long. Yeah, tarantulas have a lot of hair on them. Absolutely. Some of them. Now, there are some breeds that do not have as much hair. But they use those like the cat whiskers. Like a cat uses its whiskers to feel with. They use their hairs that way. But some of them can shoot their hairs out like bristles to defend themselves, kind of much like porcupines. They're amazing insects, absolutely. And of course, the mythology of the spider, Arachne, who boasted she could weave a better web than the gods. And the gods called her up on it and turned her into a spider so that she now will weave forever, weaving her web. The Bible says about the spider is a wondrous animal. It weaves its spell, it weaves its web in the mightiest of castles and palaces and the lowliest of huts. So, in other words, the spider doesn't care what financial situation you're in. He's gonna make his web wherever that's at. Hello, Otto. Good to have you here. Kyle, good to have you here, brother. Yeah, the spider is very interesting, but now there have been many legends down through time of giant spiders. This is very well. I don't know if many of you are familiar with J.R. Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings. Hello, John Foreman. Good to have you here. Good to see you again. There is, of course, Shelob. Shelob, the giant spider that tries to eat Frodo Baggins. He got a lot of this stuff from folklore, and you have a lot of folklore of giant spiders. Supposedly, some of them live in caves and mountains, so that if you are a spelunker or a caver, and you like to go in caves, supposedly you have to watch out for giant spiders who have spider holes in caves. So that's supposed to be a bad place to run into them at. Another bad place to run into, and that was where Shelob. She was in the cave, by the way, in that story, Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, but it's a very frightening scene where Frodo runs into this giant spider and almost becomes a meal. The interesting thing about some of these giant spiders, they even go into Native American legends where some women, spider women, supposedly would turn into a giant spider and eat their mates, very much like the Black Widow. But now we're still talking giant spiders here, okay? That is the bad part about it. How would you like to have your girlfriend turn out to be a giant spider to eat you? Okay, that would not be good. Absolutely not. You've also got stories of these things living under bridges, and stuff like that. I bunked out there for a minute. You've got a lot of stories of these things in different areas. And another I find fascinating because I like haunted houses. They say that a lot of haunted houses are inhabited by giant spiders in these haunted houses that will eat you if you go there or whatever the situation. So it's an amazing legend about these things. Absolutely. Right now, you're working on canine good citizen certification from whatever you get the hopefully search and rescue dog training. Oh, you'll be going into service dog training too, right? That would be interesting. Service dogs are very, very good to have. I used to know a lot of guys that were in the canine division of the law enforcement. Dogs are very beneficial things, definitely. If I had a big German Shepherd, I would definitely keep him around in case giant spiders show up. You know what I mean? Wizard Moon says giant spiders are nightmare fuel. Absolutely. They would be bad. That would be a bad situation. Spiders, here's the weird thing about spiders, okay? They sort of have a love hate relationship with their prey. They sort of really enjoy what they're doing more so than just like living and doing that to survive. They're kind of like, certain animals that enjoy what they're doing. The spider is that way. He seems to really get deep into what he's up to. Dogs can smell 15 feet below the Earth's surface. Oh, dogs can smell cancer in people, actually. Yeah. Dogs have a. It is thought that dogs can actually smell in color. Think about that a moment. Okay. That blows your mind when you think about that. But that's probably true. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. But anyway, I have seen dogs, hunting dogs in the field, would go after quail. They would hold their tail up forever how many whatever position that tail was in would tell you how many quail was in that bush. That's how smart hunting dogs can be. Okay, think about that a minute. He's counting. The dog is counting how many quail's in the bush and telling you with his tail how many's in there. That is amazing. Think about it. I know some 10-year-olds are probably could do that. But anyway, dogs are something else. Absolutely. And that's why I always took a dog, my dog, investigating with me because I could depend upon it more than even scientific instruments. You didn't know that, Monica? Oh, it's amazing what they can do. Absolutely. I used to watch a TV show called Hunting with Hank, and Hank was a bird dog retriever. That dog was amazing. That dog was trained better than any military personnel. I mean, that dog was fantastic. And he was breeding that dog out, making a lot of money on that dog. That dog was amazing. Cadaver dogs can smell bodies underwater based on gases surfacing in bubbles. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I don't want to be bad about this, but they can, if dogs are smart, they can pick up a bag of drugs and some low life's butt crack in a crowded airport. Okay. They can do it. Okay. They can find it. Definitely. I've seen them do it. Okay, I'll let that register for you with you there for a minute. But anyway, getting back to giant spiders, I would definitely not want to run into it. And there's another scene in the further on in the what's the name of it? The Hobbit, which is they go back and tell the story of the first Hobbit. In the Lord of the Rings, where they're actually attacked by giant spiders in the forest, and that's a wild scene too. So that would be a bad situation. Absolutely, it was a German Shepherd. Yeah, it was a German Shepherd could do it. They can actually go through your luggage and smell ammunition. They can smell bullets. Very afraid of spiders. I remember when I was really dealing with spiritual warfare, this demon would act like a spider, and it would feel like they were all over me. That I've have actually seen that happen in exorcisms, Monica, where people possessed would crawl around like spiders. Oh yeah, and I think you see that's a scene in The Exorcist too. By the way, if I'm not remembering, I think it was cut out, but she comes down the stairs like a spider. She spider walks down the stairs. I have seen people do that. Yeah. I have seen people crawl on the ground like snakes, and their tongues would be like snakes. Um, the demonic can really degrade you in many different ways. Absolutely. I won't go there tonight, but that's a long story. But anyway, um, spiders have sort of a very cold nature to them. They are very much like a shark. You're not going to get any kind of a feeling from a spider. They're going to eat you. That's it. Interesting. Withdrawal is supposed to feel like spiders all over you. Yeah, that's another thing that they say that happens. Some drugs will cause that interaction as well. Definitely, you can feel like they're under your skin trying to get out, crawling under your skin. I've actually seen people that would cut themselves to stop that, or claw themselves to stop that feeling. That's a psychosis brought about by drug use many times, although it can be part of a demonic possession as well. About 3 to 15% of the population had arachnophobia, fear of spiders. Well, yeah, it is a common fear. It is a common fear. You even have, of course, the fear of cats. Some people are scared or afraid of cats. Some people are afraid of dogs. So it just depends on what your psychosis is. Everybody's scared of something. But the fear of spiders can be a common thing, very much like a fear of snakes. It's kind of more common than some other things. Yep, and they have sores all over them from it. Yeah, they have those breakout sores and stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, they make sores on themselves. That's a different experience. I was a heroin addict many years ago. I guess gotta beat that drug. That's something to be proud of, Monica, that you beat that, because a lot of people never do. A lot of people succumb to that. But most people that have beaten that I have talked to say that they couldn't have done it without God. Definitely not. You got to have it outside. That's the first thing AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, teaches you. You got to have a belief in something other than yourself. That's faith. You got to have that. Absolutely. My wife will absolutely spice out over seeing a spider. Some people do. I mean, it's really a big fear for some people. And like I say, I think it's not just the way it looks, although that's got a lot to do with it, but I think it's their fear of it being on them. They're feeling it, crawling on you or whatever. Nobody wants a bug on them. I mean, it doesn't feel good to have a bug on you, whether it's a tick or a leech. I had a leech. I've had leeches on me. That's not a good feeling. You can't get those devils off of you. You got to take a knife and scrape them off. You can't pull them off with your fingers if your fingers are wet. Leeches can be bad. Anything on you does not feel good. Okay. I mean, I go along with that. I can see where people would not like that. She will hurt you if you get her in her way. She will hurt herself if she's not careful, right? Some people can get that afraid of something. They hurt themselves trying to get away from it. Absolutely. But that I think that's one thing about the fear of spiders. Let me say this about the spider, okay? If you were to run into a giant spider, okay, and I'm talking about giant spider, I'm talking about elephant size, okay? Let me tell you a little tidbit for you. A spider, the same size of a horse, could outrun a horse very quickly. That's how fast a spider could be on you. You could turn around to run, and that'd be the last thing you do. It would be on you that quick. Why? It's got 8 legs. It can really move out. Okay, it is a very vast entity. It can move out. Roaches can be very fast too. Wizard Moon, by the way. My mom unfortunately lost that battle 3 years ago. Yeah, I know Monica's very bad, but your mom, I think, would be proud of you. Definitely. Absolutely. But you know what? The giant spider you do not have a chance to get away from him. That would be the end of you, probably. You'd have to be incredibly lucky to get away from him. And think about the trapdoor spider. You could just be walking along, and all of a sudden, this big trapdoor opens up, and he grabs you, and he goes back in the ground with you, and that's it. You're gone. Just that quick. That's the way trapdoor spiders work. I have actually run into a lot of things on wind spiders. Are any of you familiar with wind spiders? They are very small little spiders that weave their webs and they fly on the wind. You will see these a lot of times. They show up on video cameras. And I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, that looks like a ghost," or "That looks like, what is that?" And they don't understand that what they're seeing is a spider web from a wind spider. It just sort of magnified bigger on the video, you know. But I have to straighten that out with a lot of people. They mistake it for something else. Well, you're quite welcome, Monica. I know she would be proud of you. Let me say this, okay? Let me say this to you, Monica. The people that we love, that leave us, are never ever really far from us. Okay, they are just one step away from us, and I think they know what we're doing and how we're doing. I think they're conscious of that. Okay, so although your mother is gone, she is still in many ways present with you. Okay, you got to understand that, and I think her consciousness would definitely knows what your situation is, okay? And I'm sure that she would be very proud of you, definitely. The spider web reflects light also, absolutely, and that's what screws up a lot of people on the video, okay? It looks like, what is that? I had somebody not long ago, they said, "Oh, we've got some kind of spiritual activity going on this video here, and we need you to look at it." I look at it and I immediately know it's the wind spider web. Okay. And what it is, it can be just one strand and it moves. It moves in a weird, freaky way, but it's moving in the breeze. And you see that on a video camera, it looks big, it looks freaky looking. I can see why people would think it was some kind of a spiritual thing, but it's not. Absolutely not. But anyway, I run into the wind spiders a lot. But sometimes you ever you go outside and you go down the steps to go to your car or whatever, and you run into these spider webs. Where do they come from? Those are usually wind spiders because their webs will be hanging or flying in the wind sometimes. That's the way those little guys work. They're very small. They're very little small spiders, hard to see. They ride the wind. They can fly like airplanes. Oh, okay, Spanner. Good to have you here. I like that name, Ace Banner. 007. Absolutely. Bond. James Bond. Yeah. I like to make the mechanic lie about it. Okay. Anyway, that's what we're talking about. Giant spiders can get freaky. And I would be very concerned if there were giant spiders lurking around. I would be very, very well, have the head on a swivel because they would get you real quick. Okay, they would be an apex predator that you would not want to run into. Absolutely not. Giant spiders. But I get behind on my comments here. I'll have to watch the comments getting out of hand here. I'm getting away from it. There we go. The evil ones to pay for those jabs on judgment. Okay. Well, I'm going to say something about that. What have I said so many times in the past? The government is not your friend. Most of the time, it's kind of your enemy, okay? Don't forget that. It's very important that you always keep that in mind. Because one of the biggest lies out there, I'm going to have to get my list of 7 major lies out again, okay? Hello, Philip. One of those major lies is the government can help. Yeah, big deal. Yeah, sure. Right. We believe that, don't we? But anyway, I won't get on that tonight. But anyway, let me see what. I'm sorry, I got past you there, Philip. Let's see what Philip says here. Philip says keep a giant can of Raid, yeah, or great big fly swatter, just in case. Very large Raid, extra large, giant spider can of Raid. Right about that, Dennis. There you go. They can help, but they can help is the thing. Well, that's the way it goes. Imperfection never creates perfection. Some people may have good intentions, but guess what? What road is paved with good intentions? Remember, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I saw a movie one time called The Highway to Hell, and you saw the equipment going along the road paving. It was a good intention paving company on the highway to hell. So that tells you that, doesn't it? It tells you about that. Some people may have good intentions, but it never works out that way. Yeah, absolutely not. Thank you there, Gong. I'll put that up again. That's the Patreon there. Check it out if you want to become an official shadow hunter. And like I said, I got a special video coming out very soon for the members only. Dogman Home Invasions. Okay, yes, you heard that right. Dogman Home Invasions. Okay. I keep a can of Raid Hornet spray in the door of my truck. It works like mace. Only thing is, I've heard people say I can use that on a bear. I would not advise that. Okay, I would not stake my life with a bear on a can of spray of anything. I would only go with a gun on that. Okay, because I don't know. Sometimes you might just make the bear mad, and that might not be to your advantage. That bear spray is not all. I would not put my life on it. Okay, I would not stake my life on it. Definitely not. Knowing what I've seen bears do, no. I wouldn't be packing that can of bear spray. No. Nope, wouldn't trust it with a bear. No, sir. Absolutely not. That might be the last thing you ever do. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand this, and I've seen this happen with my own eyes. A bear can be about as fast as a horse. Bears are incredibly fast. You don't think that. You think you always see them slow, meandering around. They are very fast animals. They could be on top of you in a heartbeat, buddy. You never trust yourself getting close to anything in the wild like that. Yes, it's best to give them a free pass. Let them go their way, not interfere with them, or not get your picture with them. Don't do that. No, that might be the last thing you ever do. I have seen some people do some stupid things with wildlife. Very stupid. I would not advise. But anyway, and if you do run into a giant spider, your best bet might be to kind of climb a tree or something, because you ain't going to outrun him, all right? You don't forget he's got 8 legs, and you only got 2. But like I said, there are a lot of legends and stories all over the world. I advise you to do some research on it. It's fascinating stuff. It's a very interesting rabbit hole, giant spiders. Once upon a time, I've talked about this before. Our world had a lot of giant things in it We had mosquitoes the size of eagles. We've had worms and snakes, and there are, I think, still giant snakes out there. I mean, there have been supposedly some seen that were 50 feet in length. Think about that a moment, folks. These giant snakes can eat you. They can swallow you and digest you like a rat. Okay. This is real. This is nothing made up. There are some very large snakes out there, so that doesn't surprise me. They couldn't be some very large spiders as well. Spiders walk up walls, not climbing anything with hell. I don't know, but it'd be the one thing I'd try anyway, just in case. But yeah, they can do anything. They can, like Spider-Man, they can go anywhere. Do whatever the spider can. Monica says, I've seen people do stupid stuff on social media, jumping in tiger enclosures. Oh, yeah. Some people got death wishes, I think. Snakes on a plane. Yeah, that would be a bad situation, too. One snake you do not want to run into, the Florida lance, or the green, or the black mamba. Yeah. What's that one? I think the black mamba was also called the 10-step snake. After it bit you, you take 10 steps and die. That's it. That's very quick. Bad way to go. I had a female friend one time who was into snakes and poisonous spiders. She had, I think, a problem. But anyway, she had rattlesnakes. She had a black mamba. I've seen them up close. Okay. She handled these things. Finally, one day, one of those spiders bit her, put her in the hospital for 6 weeks. I think she had sort of a sick kind of a death wish about her. She eventually, unfortunately, committed suicide. She had some demonic problems as well, unfortunately. But that's the way that goes. I'll have to tell her story sometime. It's a very interesting story. Her father sold her soul to the devil when she was a child. Yep. Yeah, it's not healthy to be fixated on certain things like that that can unalive you. You know, it's not a healthy outlook on some things. But anyway, I did my best to try to pull her back from the edge, but it did not work. But that's the way it goes sometimes. She was about probably in her early 20s when I met her. When I first became associated with her. Our association helped her a great deal, but unfortunately, she eventually turned her back on it and went in the wrong direction. That's the way these things will work. They work deep psychological games on you. They do these things to your mind. The way it goes. My crazy cousin is the head of the hepatologist at Louisville Zoo. Well, that's good. You know, I read the story one time of this man. He was the world's #1 expert on poisonous snakes. And this man knew how to handle them, Betty. He could handle them, you know, better than anybody in the world. But one day, they put him in the hospital for a couple of months. He said that day I wasn't feeling good, and I just took my attention off for 1 second, and that's all it took. And that's all it takes. Just that one time one moment you let your guard down. You know? And that's the way it goes with the demonic. Once you let your guard down with them, that's all they're looking for. Like the snake, they're ready to strike. Do you think it's really possible to sell your soul of an infant? I don't think it's possible to sell somebody else's soul. You can make a deal for things like that. I won't get into that tonight, but you can make a deal for things like that. But you cannot, it's just like I could not sell your soul, Coco. I cannot sell your soul because that's yours. I don't think souls are commodity to sell. I think you give them away. You give yourself over to the darkness. You fall too deep in the shadow. And like I said the other night on the show I was doing, there is a darkness in all of us. We got to understand this, okay? Just like Monica was talking about earlier about her thing with her addiction. We all have a darkness in us, okay? Don't you show me one person that there's no darkness in that person. I say you're telling the biggest lie there is. Because everybody has that darkness in them. It's called sin. It's the infection of sin in us. Okay. We have that sinful nature. And the darkness of this world, the demonical darkness, is always calling to that darkness in us. It wants to connect with it and pull us in. That's why I mean when they put these lying on you and starts pulling you in. That's what I'm talking about. It's hooking up with that darkness that's already in you. This is the worst addiction of anything. Worse than heroin, worse than cocaine, worse than anything. This darkness is the most addictive thing in the universe. Okay? Trust me, it is. And if you fall into that shadow, if you fall into that darkness, it's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you go, the more it pulls you in deeper. That's how you lose your soul and your humanity. That's what you lose when you go too deep into the darkness. It changes you, it takes away your humanity. That's how you lose your soul. Okay. You can try to sell your soul, and by that symbolism, you're turning your soul over. You're turning yourself over to the darkness. Yeah, you can do that. People have done it. People make deals for that. Oh yeah. But like I say, it's not a commodity that you can sell like a pound of flour or cornmeal. It's not a commodity in that way. But yes, you can give your soul definitely away. You can give it, you can go over to the darkness. And we got to remember that darkness is always pulling at us. And we need to, the best thing to do is to keep that darkness down inside of us, keep control over it. That's where God comes in. God gives you the Holy Spirit to give you control and power over that inherent darkness in you, so that it don't hook up with the major darkness. Because once you hook up with the major darkness, you can be gone in 60 seconds or less. You're gone very quickly. And like I say, it's some people have come back, but it is incredibly hard to come back out of that. Because, like I said before, and I know the power that you can get from this darkness. I know what it could do. Sure, it could turn you into a werewolf. It can turn you into things. It can give you the power to shapeshift. It can do a lot of things. But like I said before, you will pay the price of your soul for it. You understand? The price is a whole lot more than what you really truly want to pay for it. If you could sell someone else, though, we would all be in trouble. Sure. Absolutely. I don't believe you really, but you can make a deal and say, like, my children will follow you. I will teach them. I will turn my children over to you. I will sacrifice my children to you. Whatever the situation is, you can make those kind of deals. Yeah. You also have to be careful who you call your friend, because that so-called friend will have you doing things you never thought you would. That's what happened to me when I was younger and I didn't wake up. Yeah, well, we follow the wrong people sometimes. And let me tell you this, Monica, and I'll tell you all listening tonight. Satan, Lucifer, whatever his name is, will send agents of darkness after you sometimes. They're not demons, okay? They can be people, okay? They can be lost souls. People have already gone to the darkness. And you know what? They want company to go with them. Here's the thing about it. And then my grandmother used to say this: it's bad enough that the devil is on his way to hell, but it's even worse that he wants to take all of us with him. That's the way that goes. It's bad enough that you're going there, but you want to take everybody else with you as well. And that's the way some of these people work. You got to be bad to have a good time. Listen, did you hear what I just said? You got to be bad to have a good time. That don't make sense when you think about it. I didn't wake up one day and say I'm going to be a heroin addict. No, you don't. That's the way it goes. A little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. I've had people ask me that before in seminars and stuff. Can I sell my soul to the devil? You can. A little bit at a time and never even know it until it's too late. And that's the way the darkness works, my friends. Absolutely. Well, everybody says they're your friend is not your friend, Monica. Trust me. God will send you true good friends that you need, people that will help you and direct you. Those are the ones that you need to look to. But be careful who you let into your life. And I've said this so many times before. Who and what you open the door to. The music that you listen to. The movies that you watch. The people that you associate with. The alcohol and stuff that you abuse. Whatever the situation, be careful with that because those are the doorways. The weaknesses that you have is what they will exploit. And they send people to do that too, not just demons are going to show up. There are people out there. There are people working for their boss, Lucifer. I'm talking about human people. Absolutely. I remember I seen a marriage one time between a man and a woman that was a wonderful marriage, and another woman was sent into it that almost destroyed everything. And I'm saying this person was a dark, dark person, and they were sent there for one reason and one reason only: to destroy those people's happiness. That's the way evil works in this world, my friend. And that's why I warn people time and time and time again. I'm like a voice crying in the wilderness. I warn you. I hope they listen. I hope they're paying attention and listening. Be very, very, very careful. Because your enemy will eat you up quicker than a lion or snake or giant spider. It'll get you quicker. I would rather deal with giant spiders. Trust me. Okay. You know where you're coming on with them. I did a lot of things. I liked a huge amount. I did a great deal, and I decided on something better out of life. That's good, Kyle. That's the way to be. We have to wake up sometimes and smell the bacon. Make sure it ain't our bacon frying here. You know what I mean? We need to wake up. We need to wake up to a lot of things and understand what's going on with this. That's just the way the enemy works against us. We've got to understand that. And it's the way the darkness works in this world. Remember what I've said before, Monica, Kyle, all the rest of you listening tonight. The world, the flesh, and the devil. These are the three things that you must always be on guard against. All of us, not just you. All of us need to be on guard against the world, the flesh, and the devil. All three of them are working against us. But I've always wanted to fight an interesting battle against incredible odds. And that's what we're doing. But anyway, excuse me. I had to wet my whistle here. But anyway, got some more announcements for some of y'all that showed up late. The Cryptid Huntress, my good friend, will be on next week's. Yes, I'm going to have her here as my guest next week on Hunting the Shadows. I also want to thank my good friend Star Fox for that new intro we got for Hunting the Shadows. He did a fantastic job with it. Check him out, Kenny, the Star Fox. I'll be doing a show with him called Midnight Lycanthropy. We'll check that out. I'm going to put some of that up on my Facebook for some people to see and check it out. I got some Halloween specials coming up next week. You're gonna watch. We're gonna be very busy next week. Okay, we're gearing up for Halloween, so we're gonna have a lot of specials and stuff coming on. I got some. I'm gonna be dropping some more scary stories by candlelight, and gonna be doing some other special stuff. And hopefully Star Fox did a fantastic job on that. And matter of fact, I think I'll play it again for y'all. Some of you that missed it here, let me play it for you right quick again. It's real short. It won't bore you. He did a fantastic job on it. Let me play it again for you. This is the new intro. Okay.
I walked in a room cold as the tomb. Ghosts whispered secrets of doom. Eyes wide open, felt the gloom. In that house, shadows consume.
And then I got this other little one, short one, and the hunt has begun. Hunting the shadows. Intros. And like I said, he did a fantastic job on it. Absolutely. Yep. I used to have other intro, but I had to take it down because they said it was copyright. I don't know where they got that at, but anyway. They called me up on it. Loves a howl. Of course, you got a howl there. Hey, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Good to have you here, brother. Good to have you here. Yeah, I'm going to be busy next week, definitely. But that's okay. That time of year. Also, I have Mr. Dacre Stoker lined up in December. He will be back talking about his very famous great uncle, Bram Stoker, and Dracula and all that. I'll have him back on here again. He's a great guy. A very interesting fellow. Matter of fact, they discovered the other day, I don't know if you heard the news on this, but they discovered an unknown short story by Bram Stoker that nobody knew existed. And I read it, as a matter of fact. It's a fantastic short story. It's always interesting when they find stuff like that nobody knew was out there. But Gus probably likes that wolf howl. I wouldn't doubt it. He's a big Georgia fan, by the way. Georgia fans have been known to howl. I'll give you. I'm a Georgia fan too. There you go. But anyway, absolutely. And yeah, I will be doing a special video for members only on Dogman home invasions. Okay? So if you're not, if you want to join the Patreon to hear this, okay, you might want to check it out. But it's going to be on Dogman home invasions. Okay? We're going to be talking about that. Special video for members only. He loves the Georgia Bulldogs. You know what? I can understand that with Gus loving the Georgia Bulldogs. Absolutely. And Philip's got a Georgia fan. Philip has got his dog River is a Georgia fan. I hear too. Yeah. It's orange, white eyes, Michigan Bigfoot. Michigan Bigfoot Rob. Oh, Smokey. Lon Strickler talked about it. Oh, yeah. I've been on Lon Strickler's show, I don't know how many times. Lon Strickler has some interesting shows, definitely. I did Lon Strickler back years ago before there was ever anything called podcasting. We were doing radio. That was a long time ago. Oh, a Tennessee Vol, huh? All right, Kyle. I figured that. Yep. But anyway, I hope you like my talk on giant spiders tonight. And I know that's a creepy one, but I got to get you ready for Halloween here. I got to do the creepy stuff and get you geared up and ready for Halloween here. All Hallows Eve, the night when the dead walk the earth. Oh yeah. I will probably be putting out some Poe for you a little bit. Maybe doing some Poe, dropping that on the channel. So be watching for that. We got some good stuff coming up for Halloween and all that. So believe me, you do not want to be far from Hunting the Shadows channel next week, okay? You do not want to be far away from it. So keep your eyes open and keep watching. Thank you, Beyond the Box. Always good to have you here. I will be on Beyond the Box pretty soon. That's coming up as well. And Poe is perfect for Halloween, Cryptid Hunter. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be doing a little Poe. Poe is a fascinating guy. I've always been fascinated by his life and everything he did. He is a very interesting fellow. Yes, indeed, River, my American Bully Go Dogs. Yeah. She would definitely be a Georgia Bulldog fan. Absolutely. I'll say that. Yeah. Monica says Lon Strickler talked about the dog man plow through the cops and back door bust in. Yeah, what's going on with that? We're going to be talking about that. There's some kind of weird connection going on with some of these dog man reports. We're going to be talking about that. Absolutely. I'm going to be doing a short video on that for the members and all that. And that's going to be coming up. And by the way, I'll be doing another Scary Stories by Candlelight. And this is going to be a good one. I'm going to be doing two of them. One of them is really a horror story. I'm going to be doing a horror story, and then I'm going to do a science fiction horror story. I've got two of them lined up. That I may drop them this weekend coming up. So get ready for it. It's coming. There's a spooky story about a dog man trying to get in a doggy door. I heard something about that. I'm going to tell you what. If dog man tries to get in a doggy door, he's going to make that doggy door much bigger. I'm sure. He won't have any problem. Not just a cop. Well, I run into a lot of detectives in my time. Some of them were nice guys. Some of them were real assets. Put it that way. Not real assets at all. But anyway. Science fiction horror, though. Oh, yeah, you're going to like this one. Oh, yeah, this has got a good twist ending to it. But anyway, we got some interesting stuff coming up and all that. And you got any questions on giant spiders here before we close out here? You got anything you want to know about giant spiders? Like I told you before, don't try to outrun them. It's useless. They got more legs than you got. They're fast. Assets, yeah. They got a lot of real asset holes out there, The dog will make his own doggy door. Yep, that's no problem at all. Yep. But anyway, I would not want to be there when Dog Man was coming through the doggy door. No, thank you. I would love to play that song that started a lot of this stuff. The Legend of the Dog Man. It's great song. It's about the Michigan dog man. And I would like to play it. I don't know if it's got a copyright on it, though. You get in trouble on YouTube with this stuff. But I would love to play it for you. It is a great song. Oh, hi, Sweet Pea. Good to have you here. I've seen a video of 3 pit bulls tearing pieces off a car, like tires, fenders, because the cat was underneath. Imagine what Dog Man could do. Oh, yeah, I remember Lizard Man of South Carolina. He actually chewed the bumpers off of cars. I saw the evidence of some of that. There are things out there that definitely could do some damage if they want to. That's what I've said a lot of time about werewolves. They are supernatural creatures. They have superhuman power. They are superhuman muscular power. Okay, put it that way. They could do a lot. You would not want to mess with them. Believe me, they could tear your house off its foundations if they wanted to. But when something like that gets on your blood trail, we call that a blood trail. Okay. We were talking earlier about dogs. Did you know they can track you better if you're wounded and bleeding? They get on your blood trail, they can really come after you. And anything that gets on your blood trail will usually hunt you down until it finds you. And some of these supernatural creatures are very much like that. They get on your blood trail, they smell your blood, they'll track you down no matter where you go. Eventually, they will catch up with you. Do you think if any car 970s loaded would tank through a Dogman attack and keep you safe? It might help. It would be better than some of this fiberglass stuff. I'd rather have some real metal between me and Dogman than I would some of this fiberglass and plastic. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. That blood trail is what these things will come after you. That's why they're called bloodhounds, by the way, too. They can get on a blood trail. They'll never give up till they find you. That's it. That's a lot of these things, and we've talked about this before. I won't get into it tonight. I'll be talking about some of this on that video I'm going to be making. That there is, I think, some of these dogmen have a demonic connection thing going on here. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be talking a little bit about. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but there's something going on with some of this stuff that does not look right here. There's something evidently off about it. Got a sulfur smell to it, put it that way. And I have to wonder about some of it. Absolutely. Because knowing what the power of true dark witchcraft can do and the things it can call forth from the darkness. And like I told Jessica Jones the other day, in the message I sent, I think that doorways have been opened on this world that have let some of these things loose upon us on purpose. It wasn't an accident, okay? I believe they've done this on purpose. And they've turned some of these things loose on us to not only hunt us down and kill us with the disappearance or unalive us or whatever the situation is. They're doing this for all the wrong reasons. I think it's being done on purpose. And who knows what are coming through those doorways. But there's something out there. I can say this without a doubt because I have seen this my own self. Okay, and I'm not trying to be drama mama here, okay? There is something out there tonight, right now tonight, that is hunting the human race. What it is, I don't know. I call it Cryptid X. It is hunting the human race. And I believe it didn't come from this world, without doubt. I don't believe it's something natural occurring here. There's human spider hybrids in Indian mythology along with the Nagas. Oh, yeah. The Naga and all that. Yeah, they show up in Dungeons and Dragons as Driders. Yeah, you've got a lot of history on this. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got, like I said about what they taught about the spider woman. She can be a woman, but it changes and morphs into a spider and kills her mate. Or whatever the situation is. That's interesting. Pale crawlers may be part of it. That's an interesting thought. I believe, just my own personal opinion, pale crawlers are subterranean creatures. I believe they live underneath us all the time until they come out once in a while. Maybe they come out to forage, or maybe they come out to mess around. Maybe they're curious. I don't know. But I had an incident not long ago. I'll tell this right quick. Here's a good story for tonight, okay? This guy told me that this happened to him. Said he and his buddy were out joyriding one night. And this happened in Hell, Michigan, by the way, okay? And kind of aptly named, didn't it? But this happened at Hell, Michigan. But he and his buddy were out riding around in his Jeep one night out in the country. And said they came up on a car sitting in the middle of the road, diagonally kind of, sitting in the middle of the road, and all the doors were open, the headlights were on, but nobody was around it. Well, they stopped and said, "What in the world is going on? Has there been some kind of accident or something?" You know, normal people would say, "Well, there's been an accident here, something bad happened, or whatever." All the doors were open. I think the hood was up, trunk was open. It was open all the way around, right? Said him and his buddy got out. He was armed. He had a pistol on his side. Said he got out, and then we walked up to the car and we're looking around. There wasn't no blood. They didn't see nothing, you know. And said all of a sudden he saw something out of the side, the corner of his eye, you know, and he looked. He said out in the woods, behind the trees in the woods, off on the side of the road, he seen these pale things moving around. And he said they would move static wise. In other words, you could look 1 second, look again, they would be moved to a different location. They were moving very fast, is what he said. Not just crawling now. What we're talking about, they were just like appearing in locations. And he said there were maybe a dozen of these things out there in these trees around him. And he took to his friend and he said, "Let's get the you know what out of here. You know, let's get out of Dodge now. Because I don't want to stay around these things." He said, "This is some kind of trap or something." You know, they jumped in the Jeep and backed up out of there. He said he backed up about half a mile down the road before he could turn around and got out of there. But that was a bad situation. And he said, here's the weird thing. They went home. He dropped his friend off. He went home. He said later that night he heard something. And he got up and looked out the back window of his house and saw one of them things out in the yard behind one of his trees out in his yard. It scared the crap out of him. He said, I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Said I sat up with a shotgun in my living room on a chair with my back to the wall all the rest of that night. The next morning, he went outside and there was nothing, no signs of anything. And he never saw him again. But that's his story. When he ran into the pale crawlers. That's what these things are, folks. I think they're bad news. I don't think they're just wandering through. I think they're up to something bad. But I believe they're subterranean. Yeah, it sounds to me like they're moving through dimensions or statically. They're moving fast. Somehow there's something dimensional thing going on with that, I believe. Yeah. That's the way he described it. But that's the story, my story about pale crawlers. I've never run into one. I have talked to a lot of people that supposedly have seen them. I'd love to see one. But I think there may be some legitimate things out there. You know, I think Jessica talked about it on one of her shows recently. I think there's some legitimate video out there of some of these things, maybe. Saw 2 and 3D creatures turn, you couldn't see it. So if you see a 3D and something turns or moves through a dimension, you can't see it. Right? It's sort of like turning sideways. We call it going sideways. Okay. If something goes sideways, it becomes smaller. It almost like disappears, but it changes your perception on it. You understand what I'm saying? And here's another thing. We were taught this. If somebody is shooting at you, the first thing you want to do is turn sideways. You want to turn to the side. You make a smaller target that way. Think about that. It's very, very smart. I wonder if someone sent them like a witch's spell while so. I just wonder about that over Bill because I think some of these things are being conjured up. I think some of these things are being called forth from the darkness for certain reasons. Absolutely. I got that feeling. And then I've studied, let me say this about this stuff, okay? And I'm not doing this as an ego thing, okay? I have studied this stuff for well over half a century now, okay? And when I see these kind of things, and we talk about these things, it's like bells going off for me sometimes, or red flags coming up. And I can tell you without a doubt, some of this stuff has got a definite dark witchcraft, dark arts connection to it. I don't like to call it the dark arts because It's not really an art. It's worse than that. It's not an art. That kind of says bad things about artists. Maybe they flickered because the land was protecting and repelling. I think they were statically moving through time and space. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way they do. Or it might have had some kind of glamour to it, like I've said before about the demonic being able to feel. Vampires, let me tell you this. If you meet a real an honest to God vampire and they use the glamour on you, they're gonna be very attractive looking to you. They're gonna set your sexual thing off. Okay. They're gonna really appeal to you because that's the way they work. Don't you understand? They may, if you saw them for what they truly are, they would repel you, but they're not going to do that. They're going to make themselves look very appealing to you because that's the way they operate. Even cool. They say there are witches after Trump. They're witches. Yeah, I know there are actual witches putting spells on him. Yeah, right now tonight. Oh yeah, that's been going on ever since he announced his candidacy. Oh yeah, they're getting together to do it in witch circles. You know what a witch circle is? A circle of shadows. Oh yeah, we're back inside of a smoke ring. The rest of us Hispanics is back. There you go. Sweet Pea to the rescue. Have no fear, Sweet Pea is here. They're doing that to Trump. Yeah, they're doing that. They're doing that to a lot of people, not just Trump. If you especially are a Christian person and you have professed your faith in Jesus Christ, they hate your guts. They are praying against you. They are spelling against you. They are hexing against you all the time. They get together and have spell bees, okay, to do this stuff. That's just the way they work. It's sort of like a hobby with them, Stay away from them witches. Yeah, they're bad news. I've run into a lot of witches in my time. Oh, a lot of them. Some of them were rather nice. Some of them were not nice at all. But that's the way it goes with everybody, whether they be witches or not. Spelling bees, yeah, that's what I call them. Yeah. And we ain't talking about spelling words here. I've been shot at more than once. They want to take him out. Definitely. They want to take him out. That's what we get to like. Yeah. Thank you. Hit the like button. Thank you. Put that up. Hit that like button. That way you'll get notified next time we come back up, man. Makes your life easier on you. And I'm all for that. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot going. There's a lot of dark, dirty deeds done dirt cheap in this world, my friends. And it's an ongoing thing. But don't worry, okay? Because the good guys outnumber the bad, okay? By a whole lot. We got more good working for us. We don't ever hear about it, and we don't think about it, but we got more good working for us. And that's what coming up very soon. I want to make this tonight. I'm going to be doing another show. This is just going to be a show, Hunting the Shadows on Angels 101. Okay, we're going to get deeper into the angelic realm. Okay, we're going to go where angels fear to tread. Okay, we're going to get into that, and that's coming up very soon after Halloween. Okay, we're going to talk about that. I'll tell you what, I like to. Let me tell you this. This is between you and me, and you're like family to me. Okay, you all are. Okay, you're all family to me. All right, and I want you to always remember that. Okay, and I want you to know this. Okay, as family, I like to be honest and blunt with you. Okay, I don't like to beat around the bush. I want to be honest as possible with you. Okay, yep, God always wins. I've dealt with too much darkness in my time, in my life. I like to look at the bright side of things, the light. That's why I say on a lot of my commercials, hold on to the light and embrace the mystery. And that's what we do. That's the way I'll end tonight. You got to hold on to the light. Okay, my friends? Although we hunt the shadows, we're hunting the shadows. We got to always have a hand hold on the light. Okay, and we got to always remember the light's going to win in the end. The darkness is going to lose, and they're going to lose badly. They're on the losing team. We're on the winning team. As long as we hold on to the light. And there's a lot more going on in our world that we don't get to hear. All we ever hear about is the bad news. Okay? Or to start a show on nothing but good news. But everybody would say it's boring, probably. Anyway, all we ever hear about is the bad stuff. Okay? I don't like to end programs that way. I like to end programs on an upbeat to it, and say that, hey, it's not as bad as you think it is, or maybe it's not going to be as bad as we hope it. We hope it definitely isn't going to be that bad. We know that there are bad actors and malefactors in this world that are trying to work against us, but that's okay. I read the book. We win in the end. Okay? We're on the winning side. As long as you hold on to the light. That's what you got to do, okay? Yep, that's true, Overbill. Jesus is the light, by the way. That's the light you got to hold on to, okay? Without a doubt, that's the buoy in the ocean of life that never sinks. And you can hang on to it, and it will keep you afloat, okay? Don't ever forget that. And I always like to look on the brighter side and to see. I would much rather talk about angels than demons anytime. Okay, I won't tell you what. Having met demons face to face, I don't know if I've met any angels. I think I may have. I just don't know it. Okay, but that's okay. That's the way they work. But I would love to know it one day. I would love to meet them and know what I'm talking to. But I would much rather meet angels than demons anything, because I've already met them face to face. I know what they look like, what they exist, how they exist, and what they are, and how they work. I know all about them. I don't like them a bit. Okay, and there's nothing about them I admire. They're just like roach bugs or something. You just don't want to have to deal with them, unless you have to. But I much rather like angels. I'd rather be on the side of the angels anytime. Find me there on the side of the angels. That's where I'll be. I'd rather be over there. And not just because they're the winning team, but they're doing the right stuff, And that's important. Who is us or we? Jesus is Saturn, his crown of thorns. Yeah, well, when at the very beginning of the Bible, when God said, let us make man in our own image, he wasn't talking to the angels, by the way. He was talking to Jesus. Jesus existed before he was ever born as a man, okay? He's always been there with the Father. But that's who he was talking to. He wasn't on an angel. Angels, some of them may not look like us at all. We'll talk about that. We'll get into the angel, deeper into the angelic stuff. It's fascinating stuff, the angelic thing. Do demons know what they are? And the demons, do fish know they are in water? Demons know without a doubt that they are doomed. That they carry their hell with them wherever they go. They're already in hell. Although they're not in the physical hell. They're in a spiritual hell. You understand what I'm saying? They're in their own hell. Because they know they're doomed and there's no hope for them. You dream me to be a super P. There you go. You're doing great there, Super Sweet P. Absolutely. A P Ninja. There you go. I like that. Yeah. Hey, don't worry about the foot. You might need it later on. You really kick somebody good with it, okay? So get it exercised real good. There you go. Anyway, yeah, I'd much rather do, hang out with the angels. Absolutely. But it is a fascinating subject. You don't hear too many people talking about it. And like I told people before in the past, angels are not spirit guides. They may guide us in certain ways we need to go, maybe give us some ideas, but they're not for you to hook up with as spirit guides. That's not what their mission is. That is the job of the Holy Spirit. Angels don't do that. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to get deep into angelic territory with that. It's fascinating. How do good people such as yourselves become so fooled into thinking that a book written by men and changed 1,000 times the words of the Creator, man, and two? Well, it depends on your perception of it. The Word of God is a living thing. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. The Word of God is a living thing. You don't have to worry about the book and the religion, although it has been translated. The Spirit is still there with it, and that is the job of the Holy Spirit. And like I've said before, I have known people who could not read one word, could not read a word at all, and they were taught the Holy Scriptures of the Bible by the Holy Spirit. That was an act of God. You see what I'm saying? Yakin, I'm not going to get into a thing, any kind of a debate with you tonight because you're coming from a different direction than I am. I am a man of faith, and I do not have to justify my faith. I know it is real. I know God is real. I have met him on many occasions. I have had him talk to me. I have seen what he does. I would not be here tonight if it were not for him. There's no debate about it for me. Okay. It's like when you see something and you know without a doubt, you don't have to prove it to yourself anymore. I'm not here to prove that to people. It is a faith. If you don't have the faith, you don't have the faith. If you don't have the belief, you don't have the belief. That's the way that ball bounces. But unfortunately, one day you may wish that you did. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't ever come to that, but there you go. In the wrong place. Thank you. Where are my mods at? Okay. Okay. But anyway. They call the Great Spirit the Holy Spirit because you don't get our spirit from His. You think it is. I think it makes it holy. It's only it gets greater. Yeah. I don't know where'd you get that at, but that's what you believe. Yeah. But anyway, I'm reading some of the comments here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. We're glad we got back where we need to be. Thank goodness. We got the internet back, and we're operating along the lines we need to operate on. And I appreciate you all being here tonight. And like I said before, you are family. I treat you that way. And that you will always remember that you are family, and I appreciate your support. And like I said, you are very essential to this. This is your podcast too, okay? And it's always going to be your podcast, okay? And you have a voice, absolutely, with me. And I appreciate you all very much. And like I said, to be looking for some great stuff coming up next week, okay? We're going to be hitting it hard, and bots will be bots, yep. Yeah, well, don't worry about that. Things are that way. I'm going to tell you what. When you're doing something good, you know you're going to get attacked. So, hey, that just tells you you're doing, you're doing what you need to be doing, and it's the right thing, okay? Absolutely. But I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and I appreciate you very much until we get together again. And like I say, I will see you Friday night, nothing happens. From paranormal point of view, we're going to talk about Halloween movies and stuff like that, so you don't want to miss it. We got some other interesting stuff coming up from paranormal point of view. So be here if you can. And until we get together again, remember, non timbo mala, fear no evil, hold on to the light, and embrace the mystery.